Welcome back, everybody. We're gonna do another quick video today. We're gonna build on everything that we've been covering up until this point. So today's video is going to be on chapter 20. So obviously, if you've been following my videos, you'll see that most of the concepts that they're covering are not necessarily new. These are topics that they've brought up in the previous chapters. And so what they're really doing is that they're just taking the same exact concepts and topics and they're just building and building and building, okay, on those. You do not need to know everything. Once again, I always keep saying it. You don't need to know everything in these books. You're not an accountant. You just need to be able to find the most pertinent information. So this is not a large chapter. There's only a couple of things that really need to be covered in here. And let's cover them. Okay, so recording before the event. Accrual and deferral entries record real events, exchanges of money that have not yet taken place or that occurred previously and are being spread over time for accounting purposes. All right, kind of a definition, but this is what's important. Recording before the event is a way of equalizing timing differences between work you do and payment you expect to receive later. That is an important thing to understand. All right. Next, same page. By the way, we're on page 237. Your accrual should reflect the true financial condition of your business, regardless of the timing of cash exchanges. All right. Don't misuse accruals by creating on paper the payment result you hope will occur. All right. See, very important to understand that. Next. They're talking about percentage of completion adjustments. We're not really going to focus on entries and journal entries. I don't think that's that important, at least not in this chapter. Some of the things that you will see are like credits and debits. We're not going to cover that. Like I said, I don't think that's truly important. I think this is a fairly minor chapter. Things are going to become a little bit more complicated in the following chapters, but for our purposes here, I think this is pretty basic. On chapter 240. Several types of expenses are commonly accounted for as prepaid assets. These are insurance, printing expenses, office supplies, interest, and contract services. You should have, that should be familiar to you because they've already covered this in certain chapters before, but I wanted to highlight that because I think that's pretty important. And here they're gonna get a little bit in depth into some of these expenses. Like I said, you could read this chapter. It's not going to take a lot of time. There's not that much information. If you're really interested, and I don't think it's going to hurt for you to be able to cover it. But if if you want to skim through it, do so. If not, just understand this particular paragraph. I think this is pretty important. Next, on page 242, they're talking about deferred assets. A security deposit is refundable and should be placed in an asset account. All right. Next, page 243, the cash accounting method. The other method of accounting is called the cash method. In this method, as we have seen in earlier chapters, you only record exchanges of cash and financial statements show only cash exchanges. You can use this method for income tax returns, but only if you do so every year. The cash method accounting is much simpler as you don't have to keep records for contracts progress, accounts receivable, or accounts payable. All right, so make sure you understand that what they're talking about is if you do so every year, so it has to be continuous. And that's about it. So that was on page 243. You've got some questions, test questions on page 244. Pretty simple chapters, only a few pages. I think that you could cover this fairly quickly if you wanted to. Another thing I wanted to mention, I haven't mentioned it in the previous chapters, but if you guys want to make your life easier, you can tab these books so you'll know exactly where all the chapters are. I'm going to leave a link in the description so you'll know where to get the tabs that are approved for the exam. Not all tabs are created equal. Some tabs will not be allowed on the test, so you have to know which ones you're allowed to use, and I'll leave a link for that in the description. As always, I appreciate you watching. If you've got any questions or comments or anything like that, definitely feel free to hit me up. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Thank you.